All right. I do believe I'm live. Just want to make sure I can hear myself, and then we'll be all good to go. Which I should get that the next second here. All right, sweet. We're all good to go. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me on this Sunday. I didn't know we were going to get another Super Speedway weekend thrown in here. I didn't know we were at Daytona and Talladega. I mean, this is a situation to where, geez, man, I'm going to have to do another 20 and just see how this goes. So when we're looking at also, secondly, as you can see, these are in the early stages. They're not available to the public yet, and they look better just because I'm laying down in my chair and I'm always comfortable, so everything's all like squished and everything. But I am currently working on some designs for shirts related to like NASCAR DFS and stuff. I have to say, for all longtime viewers, I don't think Dead Crew Member Juju is going to get approved. And I'm sorry. If I was solo, I would absolutely be making that shirt. I don't. I'm pressing X to doubt on that one, so I do apologize on that regard to everybody. But these are very, very comfortable so far. So we're pretty happy about that. Now, when we're looking at this race here, okay. Also, secondly, am I insane? Is anybody else just like? I felt like just talking about yesterday, not about the race or anything. Did NASCAR change the distance of the Xfinity Series race, like, and not tell anybody? Because if you go on NASCAR's like schedule, like distance schedule, they had the race yesterday for 48 laps. When you looked at NASCAR's own like website and stuff, it had them for 48 laps. When you pulled their stuff, it had the race for 48 laps. The race yesterday was 46 on TV and on DraftKings. That I've never seen that disconnect before. I just want to mention that. So when we're looking at this race today, okay, 68 laps. Ooh, apparently maybe it changes. Like brother man, I don't care about leaving salary on the table. I will probably be leaving a ton of salary on the table. I am going to play this very aggressive in a sense of targeting the guys in the teens and targeting the guys in the back. My best lineups so far this week have been which is so odd that I finished both races, went from winning days to losing days with the course cutting, yet I had lineups finish higher in both races after the course cutting. I think I finished like 46th in the truck, and then I finished 48th in the Xfinity Series. So I had two top 50 lines after everything. I still lost due to the course cutting stuff. But the lines that performed the best were the ones that just so happened to not be targeting the lap leaders nearly as much. So I will probably lean more into that here, especially with the amount of people with the skill level and the potential that they can at least land in the mid pack. Also, F1 just paid out for those of you that had anything value in that. What I'm looking at, so we'll look at practice data, we'll look at the 5-lap runs, and then we're going to go ahead and look at the recent form and everything. And yeah, Sterling, it was a gross last lap yesterday in both accounts. Let's just look at the practice data really fast and get a feel. Now, I removed quite a lot of slower laps, so take this with a grain of salt, because I was trying to find true, just true laps that didn't have any guys in the way, and we see that these guys are going to be the faster ones. Which, I mean, no real shocking situations here. In terms of the slower guys, like I'm not really concerned about, the average speed between Chris Buescher and like Larson being just 1 mile per hour. Like that's not a huge concern, especially with how close everybody is. I mean, realistically, we have a lot of people who are going to contend for this race. Like even Big Bad Brad, being this slow compared to the faster guys. Well, it doesn't matter. He's not racing these guys. He's starting in the back of the field. All he needs to do is get to the mid portion of the pack. That's the main takeaway here. Also, I just removed all of Timmy Hill's laps, so it didn't just completely make everything just solid red here and everything else orange. But I am not very concerned on the people in the back of the field. When we're looking at the entirety of their rankings based on where we're at, like we just see Timmy Hill at like an abysmal like fucking 2 minutes just goofing around here. But everybody else is pretty close I mean, these are pretty close times. These are, one bad corner, situations or whatever, um, away from gaining or losing positions here. We've already seen how wildly crazy this weekend has been. Almost more so. Like, okay, so this is where I stand. I had this argument with some of my buddies yesterday, and like the S's and stuff. I hate track boundaries defined by anything other than a solid object. Okay, you don't want them cutting the S's? Build a wall. Okay, you don't want them cutting the S's? Put grass there. I am never a fan of these track limits in any racing series, especially when it's, oh well, we're gonna have track limits here, but not on the rest of the track. Like, get out of here, bro. That is so stupid. I hate street courses, but at least they just put up walls. You can't cut the track there. So yet again, cutting the course and everything is so important. It's such a big deal. It doesn't even matter because we have no control over it. Like that's where it's at. It's so important. There's no reason to talk about it. Like that's where we're at. The one thing that I want to focus more on is when we look at the recent form of last year. Now, yet again, just take Chicago with a grain of salt. Blah 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 blah. And this is kind of why, entering this weekend, I didn't do a lot of preview videos because what I'm leaning more and more into, especially looking uh, back at stuff during the off season and kind of reevaluating my stuff, is, man, in terms of building projections, in terms of really focusing on line construction, like, you just got to wait for Q, man. Like, like, I don't know. Did I need to tell you that Byron was probably going to qualify? Well, but what I want to use this for, so this is 10th. Let's go ahead and find halfway in the field here, and we're going to highlight this here, which you guys should be able to see pretty decent. Yeah, I mean, BG3, where I'm at, just let them cut the S's. Fuck it, who cares? Like, we're ruining good racing here. We're gonna start at the back of the field, okay? And yet again, this is the way that I rank stuff. This is not driver rating or finishing position. This is just where they were in terms of where they kind of ran all day, top 5, top 10 laps, percentage, fast laps, and my pit road stuff that I put together. And when we look at Noah Gragson and these, what is it? Hold on. Let's kind of, I don't remember how to code that. I was going to say just what their 5X would be on here on the side, but not even code. I don't remember what the fucking formula is. Anyway, what we're going to look at is, let's just see where these guys are at. Now, Gregson, had a horrendous day at Chicago, and I believe he only ran one. Yeah, so he has the first two. And we look at Gregson here, and we see him starting, back of the field. And, man, all he needs to do is, like, basically finish in this range. Like, if he gets, where do I have him at? Where I got little Gregson boy at? I got him at 24th today, right? 24th today, which is that's probably like 25th or so. We're looking at him right at around 31, 32, 33 points. Okay, that is a 4.9 value. When we start looking at where these guys are in terms of potential DraftKings, I got to make sure I don't actually put this on this screen because I'm creating another sheet here. As you can see, I'm down here goofing around. When we look at where these guys are going to be at, yet again, if you want to join TrueDFS and use my projections, use Sheets' projections and stuff on top of everything else that we have. And I believe we do have a MLB code that I cannot remember off the top of my head. I'll have to look that up in a second. When we're looking at where these guys are in terms of potential scoring, when we're looking at the guys up top, Byron, Gibbs, Reddick, Bell, Chastain, all the guys who could potentially lead laps, I have them currently like spread out. Like, I have nobody projected for over 50 points today. Most likely that we do have like the main lap leader score over that. But yet again, because these guys are most likely going to cannibalize each other, like, we can't just all have, somebody get like, we can't have multiple people get like 20 laps led with like 13 fast laps and stuff. What happens and what's going on there is we end up losing a lot of the higher projected drivers, who are projected for like mid 40s and stuff on like in terms of means, and it really starts focusing on the place differential. Anyway, going back to Gregson, when we look at where Gregson is at in terms of projected points, and you remove the kind of bias towards the potential of multiple people leading laps and this stuff being spread out because there's a real chance that only one of these guys uh, hits value and can work, or like truly none of them do. And Gregson ends up moving from like the 21st highest scorer to a potential like top 13 scorer and top 12 scorer. And that's him right at 24th, doing absolutely nothing. When you look at that compared to everybody else back here, with the amount of laps led that we're not looking, or the amount of fast laps and laps led that we do not have, and you see Eric Jones, yet again, we've had, potentially horrible days from Eric Jones, but still starting 38th. And you look at kind of where he's fallen in line at, that's right around like, 26th, 28th and stuff of just kind of where he's averaging in these races. And we look at where I have him for, and I have him for 24th as well, and that's, a 4.5 value. But yet again, that's not pushing him any farther past 24th. That's him gaining like 14 positions, and that's it. And yet again, when you compare that to where people are projected at, he has a real potential of being certainly a top 20 scorer if, a lot of guys up front score well. If they don't run into issues, pit road, cut courses, whatever happens, that moves Jones, that moves Gregson, that moves a lot of these people into top 10 scores. And we're not even talking about good plays at the moment. When we look at Brad Keselowski, and you look at where he's at, this is a guy who has a real potential of, outside of running into true issues, is going to finish right around 20th just based on this alone. That's not even talking about, or maybe not finish, but have a car that's potentially going to be like the 20th best car. That's not even including, where we're looking at in terms of his practice stuff, just kind of where he's at in averages. When we look at that and we see same thing for Keselowski, yet again, I'm for 21st, literally nothing else. And he's one of the better plays on the slate. We continue to go up with Logano, same thing here. Now, this is a guy who is actually, like, truly has not had a bad road course race outside of Indy. Outside of true struggles, we're going to see him move up the field. Okay. So where I'm at is I'm not concerned about the issues at the Forza, especially like with Gregson. Like the dude, had Suarez spin out. He locked the tire up. NASCAR didn't let him put on a tire. He didn't even get to do a lap, He just starts last because, they couldn't put on another set of tires. So when I'm looking at this race here, and let me just go up and we can kind of see where everybody else falls in line, because I'm sure some people want to see that real fast. But past that, we can start talking about like line of construction. Like here's Briscoe, yet again, who is starting behind where he should be in terms of raw speed. We have Barry didn't run. Actually, I believe Barry ran the first one. He did not. He did not run one of them last year. When we look at Stenhouse, like not running issues. He doesn't get involved in the wreck. Nothing insane happens. He's right around mid-pack. Burton as well. Not mid-pack, but like once we start getting into it. So like in terms of like stacking from the back, this is one where I'm not just going to like truly go like, oh, I'm playing to me. Like I'm not going to do that. But like we can clearly understand the good plays that we want to focus on. Same thing with like Ryan Blaney. You're telling me Ryan Blaney at $7,500 for the, like, come on, man. Like Michael McDowell, you're telling me we don't want to prioritize, the good old Christian boy, Michael McDowell, who has like been just a dominant force here. I'm not even saying he finishes top 5. It doesn't even matter, but where he's at here compared to what he's been doing in this car, right around, what do I got him at? I got him for, get McDowell like 13th. Hell, even past that, even under that, he's still scoring well. And so, once you go through and look at that for everybody, and kind of where they're falling in line, like these aren't ugly plays, man. These are not looking. I mean, even Dylan. Then you get to, arguably one of the better road course racers as of late, Busher, starting like, come on, what is this? Why would we not focus on these guys? I don't understand. And so once I did that, once I looked at the projected stuff, or my projections and stuff, and I threw them in, like even Kyle Busch, like I implore you, go look at the contest and go look at how people are scoring. Now, I'm not saying, we're going to have like some no-name fellas go through, but look specifically at where the guys who started, and this is, yeah, sure, SVG and AJ and all these idiots ran into issues and stuff. But it's not even about that. Understand what happens when these guys, because it's not going to happen for everybody. Like I said, the argument could be made for one or two guys lean and stand up front all day. Everybody else is basically not going to work due to the fact that they're not going to be able to get laps led and stuff. And so, like, look where AJ's at. And I'm like, Shane, you're telling me we're not playing Shane? Like, you're telling me you're not going to prioritize Shane over like Tyler Reddick? Like, that's what I would do. That's what I would prioritize people who are starting in the teens over the guys up here, and I would limit my lap leaders to one of these guys, So anyway, that's kind of where we're at there. When you look at kind of how everybody should perform in terms of their speeds, when we start looking at like how I want to actually build lineups and stuff and the pool that I want to use, and then combine that with, at least if you're looking at my stuff, you can see that a lot of my higher projected lines have either one or two of these guys, and it's all place differential. And we're seeing that there's a lot of viable lineups that are either going Ty Gibbs because he's 8,700 and really not using anybody else in the top 10, or just not using anybody in the top 10 and focusing on place differential. I think this is a race that has a real potential to have lap leaders get spread out to where we don't have either one or two main lap leaders, and it really defaults to place differential. And so for me, when I'm looking at that, I'm like, all right, man, we got basically another plate race. Basically another plate race where I don't have to be a freaking like big brain, smooth brain, galaxy brain myself and just play the guys in the back, and we can just play the good drivers. So when I'm looking at this type of when I'm looking at this type of stuff, these are not the entire pool that I'd focus on, but like, you're telling me you don't want to play Bowman, the showman? Like, look, like even Bowman stuff here. When we're looking at like how Bowman, you're telling me you don't want to play Alex Bowman here? He doesn't run into issues. The guy is at least going to be a top 10 driver. It doesn't even matter what he does past that. Like this, So what I would do, what I'm going to do, is focus primarily on these guys in green, and build around them. I think that's it. And I do not care about how much money I leave on the table. I do not care about how many guys I have starting behind a certain imaginary starting position. I just don't. I'm not gonna truly worry about that. I'd rather just play the good drivers who have enough upside and who can finish top 15 realistically. But still, like with that said, like Gregson doesn't need that. Yet again, I have these guys projected for like mid-20s in some situations, and they're still performing. They're still working. Sorry, I just got a notification by Goldie on my Discord. What was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. Anyway, that's where I'm at. 72 you guys here on a Sunday morning. I do appreciate you guys being here. All right, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Then we can look at something here. Yeah, dude, there was a lot. Hey, what's going on, BVP09? Happy to see you back. I know. Was it you Broncos or Kanab? One of our guys was winning. We had the guys winning both contests until the last restart on both accounts. So that was a pretty brutal day there. Hey Mark, so like when I mean I kind of already answered this, but my main lap leader, honestly, like if you want a true lap, it's William Byron. Like William Byron is, in my opinion, probably the favorite to lead laps. Not because he's starting first, but like look at where these guys look at where this motherfucker's at. Let's figure out the main lap leader then. Let's focus on the top 4 drivers. Who has the better chance of leading laps? Now Byron is certainly in contention. We have Gibbs, who is clearly a step below. We have Reddick, who is consistent and right there with Byron. Okay. And then we have Bell. Okay. So really, I mean, we can go in any direction. I would lean William Byron because I feel like more people would focus on the Toyotas. That's where I'm at. But yet again, that is the least important aspect in my opinion today. Maybe speaking optimally, you need it, but so far we've ran into enough issues to where you didn't necessarily need the main lap leaders. I have to look back at the trucks to fact check that one. But I know for a fact, like the winning lineup in Xfinity yesterday had AJ Allmendinger, and he had like 37 points, and that was not the optimal lineup. The optimal lineup was not played in Xfinity yesterday because it was very similar to what I assumed that I probably should have been more aggressive in that. But I didn't play a lot of the fucking shitters and stuff. But lineups that focused on pure place differential were probably going to be underplayed and have a higher chance of being optimal yesterday, which ended up happening. I think very similar situation here, especially with the fact that we have, very few laps. The fact that we're going to have a lot of people swapping leads, and due to the amount of teams either trying to gain track position or maintain track position, I don't think we have one lap leader today, and due to that, I don't think we see one or two guys run away with it and lead a majority of the laps. And who keeps tagging me and stuff? I keep getting tagged in over here. What is going on? What am I getting tagged in? Okay, sorry. I only have like 3 Discords that actually I get notifications for, and I'm like, oh, is this work related? Is this somebody asked me if I want to hop in a 1987 Legends race on iRacing after this? When I'm looking at this race here, I'm gonna primarily build with these guys, especially with the guys in the teams. Like I love Chris Buescher, I love AJ, Shane, Austin Cindric, Larson. Combine that with like Logano, combine that with Noah Gragson starting last. Like this is where a majority of my line's going to be built, and I want to just be very, very aggressive in that way. Let's see, McDowell, Buescher. So due to the nature of this race here, I mean, you can go back and look at how I've been playing. I haven't played 100% Ben Rhodes, had 85% Riley Herbst, and like I said, due to everything changing, I ended up losing money on that one. But like I had a ton of like Riley Herbst. I'd like I what was that? So that's 17 lines with him. I think I had like 8 or 9 cash. Like what the heck are people doing? How are these lines cashing and stuff? Today for Cup, due to the sheer size of the contest, I'll probably cap it at 65% Buescher, 65% McDowell. Probably I'm gonna try and leave it at like 60% Logano and stuff. But that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I mean, yeah, same thing with the out of bounds stuff. Like, just build a goddamn wall, man. Who cares? Put turtles there. Like, put the stupid curbs. Like, I don't get if you don't want drivers use like. There's this channel on YouTube called Driftland, and they're based either in Wales or the UK. I don't remember, but they own a racetrack, and it's like just a bunch of guys goofing around, and they're primarily drift competitions. And they talk about specifically the wear and tear that you put on racetracks, and why you have to add either the rumble strips or like concrete and stuff. Because like as soon as people start dropping tires off the asphalt and stuff, start digging into the sand, and that like messes up the structural integrity of the pavement. And yet again, going back and forth, I don't understand NASCAR's logic or even COTA's logic. Like, yeah, we can't cut the S's and stuff, where all that is asphalt. But yeah, we'll just let you guys dig trenches like you're on the front of World War I over here, and digging a trench in no man's land, and throw all this like dirt and stuff. And then also like, don't claim the fucking dirt. Like NASCAR, leave the dirt on there. If they want to be driving through the dirt, let them drive through the dirt. Don't go over there and clean the dirt off of everything they've been digging up. Like they want to do that. Let them deal with it. If you can gain speed through grass and dirt, let them gain speed, man. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, Noah had trouble turn 6 like 7 times at Chicago. I mean, yet again, I mean, practically nobody watched the Chicago race, but I'm going to reiterate for those of you seeing comments here. So Chicago, yes, we had the big one wreck. The major thing that happened with Chicago is that NASCAR completely fucked half the teams straight up. A lot of teams were planning to go the entire distance of the race. So we have like literally half the field pit for fuel. As soon as they pit, NASCAR's like, you know what? This race is in like 15 laps, 10 laps. And so literally people who ran in the back all day cycled to the front because they stayed out. We had people like Justin Haley. We had people like, Austin Dillon crashes or hits the wall late in Chicago, but he had no business being up there. Like Chicago, yet again, for those of you that are bringing it up, like, I would not be looking at this data point because Chicago's a fucking farce anyway. But I'm answering that because like I'm already seeing stuff. I'm like, oh, Chicago's shit. Like everybody should know that already. That shouldn't be a thing that we're talking about or like that. Yeah, so Larson, okay, so yet again, yes, Larson won from the pole. He also went to the rear. He didn't get a chance to lead laps led. I think that's a little like I don't think that's an accurate standpoint because if Larson starts up front, he most likely scores probably mid 50s, probably like 56 points from leading laps and stealing laps from SVG and AJ. With that said, still same thing, not scoring a lot of laps and very easy to like why Brady, why is this a data point that we're talking about? Larson started from the pole yesterday. Yeah, but are we not paying attention to the circumstances that he was around? Like, why is that a topic of discussion here? That's literally like he didn't have a chance to lead laps. What are we talking about? Okay, well, at least Sterling is answering that. No Josh Berry love. So at least for me, Sterling, where I'm at, I don't know how realistic because I have to. I'm like I said, I'm not worried about leaving money on the table, but I would. You have my projections. You can see that stuff straight up. I am not probably going to focus on Josh Berry today. So with that said, that probably means I'll probably have like him in 2 of my lines at like 10%. But I have like little to no faith on that. I would much rather focus on everybody else I have projected higher. In terms of Josh Berry, that's where I'm at. So what's your thought on Larson versus these primary lap lead? I'm so confused, man. I'm answering this stuff. I understand I'm going through chat kind of late, but everything I've been answering, you should be able to answer that question. I don't know if I need to answer these questions. Oh man, we're talking about cash games. What is, dude? What's going on with this chat, man? Everybody knows I hate cash with a passion. I never ever play cash at all. If I'm playing cash, I would not play a lap leader, and I would probably play 4 guys starting the teams. That is my opinion for cash, and I'm probably just skipping over that. That is my opinion. And I think that's the way you should approach it, Sterling. At least that's how I'm going to approach it today. Kobayashi, starting 25th. I want to get a closer ownership run, not of my stuff, but I want to see what the industry is kind of saying about Kobayashi here because he might fall through the cracks and end up being like right at like 18% ownership. I also think we're going to see ownership pretty spread out. I don't think we're going to see true focus points on ownership. I think there's a real chance we have. Let me think. We might have like 6 guys in the. I don't think anybody's going to eclipse over like 38% today. Probably going to have like 6 guys in the 30s, and then a lot of people filling out in like the 20s and teens. So ownership might not be that important, but I am curious on what Kobayashi ends up being projected at here. 2311 car. So like, let's just answer this in your head or in our head. $7,000 needs 35 points to hit value. While value is going to be important, we need raw points here. Okay. And so if we look at Kobayashi and just kind of shotgun it here, think about it. What happens when he finishes 20th? Okay. Well, that's 29 points. So that's not going to work. Okay, what happens when he finishes like 16th? Okay, 16th is 37 points. Okay, so when we look at him of like finishing 17th, that's 33 points. So we've determined that he needs to finish to really compete for stuff. Certainly higher than 17th. Anything higher than like 16th, he's gonna compete to be one of the highest scoring guys. But yet again, that can be said about everybody. Like that's what I think about Kobayashi. I would have him projected for like 19th, 18th, uh, in lineups that I would have him in. That's not going to do much. Like he needs to score more than that. But that's like how I look at everybody. That's how I look at every single driver. Like I look at what I think they're going to finish around. Is that going to work in a DFS range? I would answer no for Kobayashi, but yet again, I would project him for like 17th, 16th. If he does better than that, he's going to work. Like that's, but you can say for anybody. And that's like questions you should be asking yourself. It's not that hard. It seems like it is, but it's truly not that hard to make your own projections, especially in races like this to where lap leaders don't matter. You're just calculating place differential. I would encourage everybody to do that in your free time. Do it as a hobby. Maybe you're bored one Tuesday. Um, maybe you just want some peace and quiet. I don't know. You got like 20 minutes free. Hop into a Google Sheet and build your own DraftKings projections. So you can just calculate this stuff and look at it very, very quick. Would you avoid Okay, so yet again, pit crew. So important. It doesn't matter. Truly, it doesn't matter. A lot of people, not a lot of people, actually, like nobody's flat out hated that. In fact, only the smart, like Astukas, gave me like, what the fuck does that even mean, dude? But like Kyle Busch, okay, so like he can cut the course today. He can get spun out at any point in this race. He can be spun out on the last lap. He could speed in pit lane. He could speed in pit road. All that stuff is going on. We have no control over that. Do I have a control over if Kyle Busch's pit crew does it 11.8 second pit stop or 13.9 second pit stop? I do not. And typically, like, yes, that's important when like other tracks. And even then, like same thing with like Bubba Wallace and like, oh wait, what about today? Everybody likes Tyler Reddick. What about his pit crew? What if he loses position on pit lane? Like that doesn't matter, man. A lot of these pit stops that these guys are going to be doing are going to be under green. You want to have mistakes on pit road under green. You lose less positions in green flag pit stops. Okay, if you're and yet again, I don't know if people are familiar with this or whatnot, but like, think about it. When you're on pit lane under yellow, the entire field is in pit lane. You have a pit stop that's 3 seconds slower than everybody else. That's going from 5th to like 27th. When you're racing under green flag conditions and pitting under green flag conditions, okay, you have a pit stop that's 3 seconds slower than other people. That is nowhere near as impactful. Okay. Now, if he loses a wheel, I mean, like, I can't do anything about that. But like, pit road today doesn't matter. Like the pit stalls don't matter. The crews don't matter. In my opinion, that's where I'm at. Like so important, don't matter. Like so important. It could be a horrific day. Doesn't matter. These guys can cut the S's, have their day ruined. Doesn't matter. How do we project that? It doesn't matter. Just embrace it. So like Kyle Busch, why would I let his pit stop or his pit crew with like stop me from this? Are you kidding me? A guy realistically has a top 10 shot here. Like I wouldn't hold him back or avoid him due to pit stall there. That's where I'm at. I guess, yeah, sure, man. Yeah, sure. Kobayashi is gonna poor little fella. We'll see what happens here, man. I will say, it seems to me, and if anybody does have any arguments here, let me know. I think it's very easy to determine who we're not playing today. Okay, let's talk about people we're not playing that I'm not going to play, that I see no reason to play. I'm not playing. I have no interest in Corey LaJoy. No interest in Haley. I have no interest in Hocevar. No interest in Gralla. Realistically, I don't know what to do with Nemechek. I'm going to leave him in the pool, but I'm not playing Harrison Burton. I'm not playing Hemrick. I'm not playing Hill. That might seem like, duh, of course you wouldn't. But like, once you start eliminating these guys here, like Zane Smith, Barry, whatever, take it or leave it. But especially when we're up here, in terms of like who I'd want to focus on or kind of chase and stuff like that, like realistically, I don't see Hamlin being in play. Could be wrong. I don't see Hamlin being in play. I don't see Truex being in play. You know, I'm really kind of, if I'm taking a stand on guys up front, I want to play Byron and Gibbs. So like where I'm at, I don't think I'm going to play Christopher Bell today. I don't think I'm going to play Chastain today. You know, I don't think he's 6,700. But in that range, he's competing directly against other people who you can very easily get to. And if salary doesn't matter, I don't think you need Bubba Wallace. I don't think you need Chase Elliott. Okay? So once you start eliminating people that are needing to run away with the race to finish well, man, it just highlights the guys in green. Just highlights the guys in green even more. So that's really my 2 cents there on kind of where I'm at. I'm playing this like Daytona and Talladega, but like, kind of like you should though, or like building optimally. You know, where it's not just stacking the back. I'm gonna play, you know, 2 guys in this range. I'm gonna focus on the guys in the teens and maybe like a one-off in the 27th. Like that's what I'm gonna do, man. I'm gonna. That's how I'm focusing on it. And so primarily my lineups are going to consist of guys 11th on back in this race. Now, with that said, of the people that I've highlighted here in green, who do I personally want to be overweight on? Who do I purposely like want to play that I don't think the field will want to, or whatever the case may be, the people that like I actually truly like in this range? I really like Cindric today. And I say that, I'm not going to be 60% on him. I like Cindric today. I'm probably going to have like 20, 25% Cindric. I like Kyle Busch today. I like Suarez. Clearly Busch or McDowell, I don't need to talk about those guys because we're already playing them. I really, really like Cindric and Kyle Busch today and Suarez. I really like AJ, man. Like these are the guys that I would probably that I have more interest in, or that I would want to focus on. I'm kind of really interested in Priest here. I think he's an interesting play, $5,600. I think, especially if I'm paying up for a lot of these guys, he'll probably be one of the favorite guys that I want to go to in the lineups that are using a good amount of salary. But man, I really like the 11 to 20 range today, man. I really, really like these guys here. I don't even think the projections really necessarily show that. Like I got Cindric today for like 39 points, but I just like Cindric, man. Anywho, do we have any kind of last minute questions? Anything else past that? I don't think we do. I think I about covered everything I've wanted to. Let's see. Sounds like, okay, well, Jason, that sounds targeted. Oh man. Shane will, like I said, I don't think anybody eclipses like 38 to 36% ownership. But if there is a guy who would be potentially doing that, I think Shane will be one of the guys in the 30s. So he would probably be maybe like the 4th or 5th highest owned driver. That's the only part where ownership does, maybe it even doesn't in a sense, but being aware of where these guys are going to fall in line. Like Larson is going to be very popular. AJ is going to be very popular. In this range here, Larson, AJ, SVG going to be very popular. Busher, McDowell, Blaney, Keselowski, Logano, Gregson are going to probably be the guys who are most owned and stuff. So at least being aware of that is important. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. Oh, and or at least yet again for me, if I'm chasing guys up, if I'm chasing a lap leader, I like Byron. I like Gibbs. Those would be so like in my lineups where I'm building with a lap leader, I'm going to be overweight on Byron and Gibbs, which probably means probably four lineups with each of these guys and none with them together. That's kind of where I'm at there. Past that, I think I'm going to let you guys go and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you very much for joining me. And yeah, just enjoy another Talladega race. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thank you very much for being here. And I will talk to you guys. And where are we at next week? Short track. Richmond. We at Richmond. Yeah, Martinsville. Let me look real fast. Don't even remember what track we're at next week. We are at... Yeah, we're at Richmond, Martinsville. Text next 1.5. Yeah, so personally where I'm at, April 14th is April 14th to June 2nd is my most important time of the year for NASCAR. That month and a half is my entire existence. Because we just got super speedways and 1.5s, man. I cannot wait for that. And we got the fucking All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. But that's what I'm looking forward to. So let's just get through this crappy Richmond. Let's get through this boring Martinsville. Let's get back to the good old Tejas and stuff. Anyway, see you guys later. Best of luck. And yeah, see you guys later.